Hey everybody, this is Kat with Tootie Boots Media, and this is my new channel. I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. Um, Probably first off, I'll be talking about how I was bullied in nursing school as well as at many of the nursing jobs that I've had. So, what is nurse bullying, you might ask? Well, I don't know why it goes on, but nurse bullying comes in many forms, and those include belittling, where other nurses or nurse managers or those in any position of authority will talk down to you, and they'll do that in front of other patients or other employees. So it makes them feel better for some reason to belittle someone else. Um, there are also other forms of bullying. One of those is minimizing, where you might feel that you're struggling or you're having some issues at the new job, not understanding things, perhaps, and you're told to suck it up, get over it. Oh, you've got to toughen up. I've heard that. I've heard, well, you're a nurse, you ought to be able to figure that out. Well, we're not like superheroes. We're normal people who decided to go into nursing. You learn to analyze and use nursing skills to, go through the nursing process of assessing and making a nursing diagnosis, etc. But we're just not supermen and superwomen. We don't have the wonderful gift of knowing everything. If I did, I would not have gone to nursing school. I would have already known everything, and who knows what I could have become. So the next type of bullying or form of bullying is name calling. And, you are labeled as a bad nurse, perhaps, or she always complains. I never did complain, so I wasn't labeled that. But there are nurses that I've heard other nurses reference as being a bad nurse because they just don't know what they're doing. But one of the things that nurses that I've come across, that when I've started a new job or many new jobs as a nurse, nurses go everywhere. They work at this job, they leave, they work at another job, they find a better paying job, and that's normal for nursing. But one of the things that I was told was that I've had too many nursing jobs. Something must be wrong with you because you've worked several places as a nurse. And it's very suspicious. And that's not. So that's a form of, I guess, belittling or maybe name calling because they're labeling you as, having a problem because it looks like you couldn't hold a job very long. Well, that's not the case. I just would decide that I'm not going to put up with what they do and that culture at that particular business. So I I was labeled as that, and by a nurse when I went for an interview at a major hospital, and I was told, "Well, you've worked several places. Is there something wrong? Do you have trouble at jobs?" I also interviewed for a home health position, and that nurse manager or director, whatever her title was, had insinuated the same thing. And because I'd had a couple of other nursing jobs for short periods of time, I was told that if I got hired, I would be on probation and that I may be good at interviews, but that doesn't mean I'm a good nurse. So I never took that job because I was offered it, but I never took it because I thought I don't want to work for somebody like that. Another type of bullying or form of nurse bullying is pushing or shoving. If you're the type of person who's very controlling and you want things done your way and nurses don't listen to you, they can resort to pulling or pushing or shoving. And I did have that happen I've talked about in another video that you'll hear. It's the bullying at my first job. I was grabbed by another nurse and pulled, and I quickly removed my arm from her hand and told her to never do that again. And that didn't go that well, but you'll hear about that in the other video. Some covert types of nurse bullying include ostracizing, gossiping about you, ignoring your calls for support or your request for help on the floor or with a patient or what have you. So a lot of the nurse bully types come in the form of super nurses who just take on everything, and they act like if you don't match their level of busyness, that you are, they talk down to you. And they try to make it like you're not a good nurse because they can do all this, but you're not, so you're not as good as they are. There are the nurses who are the cliquish nurses. They have their clique. I've dealt with that as well, and I don't like that. I'm not part of a clique. I don't want to be part of a clique. There's too much drama, and I don't want to add to the stress of nursing. It is difficult. You have unbelievable responsibilities that you could, cause harm to somebody if you're not paying attention. And why add the stress of being in a clique or having to fit in? Why do that? That's just too much. And then you've got the two-faced nurses. I've had that. They talk super nice to your face. And then when you walk away, they talk about you. I witnessed that firsthand when I was at a new job and I asked for clarification on something. They gave it. This nurse gave it. There were two nurses sitting together in a room at computers. And so as I turned around and walked out, I remembered one more question, because that's me asking questions. I turned around. They did not know I turned around, and I heard them talking about me. So I let them know I heard it, and they were pretty embarrassed. But those are the types of bully nurses. And one of the things I never could understand was, why do nurses bully? Why are there nurses that bully other nurses? I've heard it said that they don't have self-confidence. In my opinion, that may be true, but in my case, I feel like I'm fairly smart, and I felt like they didn't appreciate that I knew what I was doing, and they didn't appreciate it. So you're considered a threat. So they're going to bully you because you're looking a little bit smarter, or you might do a better job slightly than someone else. So, I just can't understand why nurses who are supposed to be taking care of patients and taking care of people and helping them, and they're just crushing someone's soul by being a bully. So these are a couple of the types of bullies, types of nurse bullies, and types of bullying that they do. So comment below if you recognize any of those as having bullied you and what you did about it. Some of the strategies that we can use to address bullying among nurses is recognizing it as bullying. Don't brush it off thinking, oh, they just had a bad day, or whatever is causing them to say those things to you. I brushed it off because I wanted to just kind of lay low, and that made it fester and grow. And so when you don't take charge of someone bullying you, it will wear you down. It will cause depression. It might cause even worse things to happen. So we've got to get a grip on it when it starts. So we got to recognize that problem, and we've got to address it, whether it's with that person or whoever's in charge, whoever is the next step on the chain of command. So that's one of the ways that we need to kind of get a grip on it, is to recognize that it's going on. And if you see other nurses bullying new nurses or other nurses, step in and take that nurse under your wing and they're feeling pretty horrible by being bullied. I can tell you that firsthand. And you want someone on your side because this is a tough row to hoe on your own when you're being bullied. It's very difficult. So um, that's one tip on how to address bullying among nurses. So I'm going to leave it at that, and we'll talk about more in the next audio recording. So be sure to click like and subscribe if you like my audios. I want to call them videos, but they're audios. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the button for notifications so you'll be notified when a new video drops or a new audio drops. So until next time, I will see you later. Bye-bye.